Alright, so a lot of you have seen videos where I'm riding with like groups of people, like huge groups, they're very dangerous. But like I typically ride with at least 2 or 3, sometimes more people on the weekends. And it's usually the same crowd, so like we always know like how each other rides and this and that. But I'm just going to give you guys some tips on how you can safely ride in a group, because riding in a group can actually be very dangerous. It can be super fun and exciting, but at the same time it can be very dangerous. For like starting off, first of all, if you've never ridden in a group before, you probably want to be towards the back. To me, the back is actually the safest spot, because you see everything that's going on in front of you. Where like if you're riding, I've seen this happen before, like if you're riding up towards the front, people like don't realize you're turning, or they don't realize you're braking because they're paying attention to something else. And people have come close to running into me before, and it really scares the shit out of me. That's one of the big reasons that I really don't ride with a lot of like big rides that go on around my area. So basically you want to be staggered. Like you see the group leader right here, the guy leading this group is he's on the right, and then the guy behind him is on the left, and then Heather's over on the right, and then I'm over on the left. So we're like bricklayed, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But that's the reason people do that, is because like say if she were to have to emergency brake right now and I was right behind her, I'd go right into the back of her. Where like if he has the emergency brake, at least I have extra space and time. She's like, what are you doing? I'm vlogging. I'm motor vlogging. So the good thing about being on a bike is that bikes are fast and bikes can get around cars pretty quickly. But another thing is like if someone in the group decides to pass, right? So like say they all 3 pass this car right there. Does it mean that I can pass them too safely? No, not really. Usually when I'm passing and I'm like, I have people behind me, like right now it's just the 4 of us, I don't have anyone behind me, but usually when I'm passing, I'll give like an indicator, like I'll wave over, or I'll turn my left blinker on like I'm gonna go, and then obviously I pass right away. But you have to like look out for yourself. You can't just assume that someone in front of you passes, so that means, oh, I can pass too. Because I've seen someone pass, and then someone pass behind them, and then like a car be coming, and it's an oh shit moment. So doesn't necessarily mean that you can pass just because they pass. And I've actually seen 2 wrecks in person because of that. One guy thought he could pass, and he passed, and then there was a corner coming up, so like he had all the speed to get around the car, and then he didn't realize there was a corner coming up, so he got all the speed to go around this car, and then he was like, 50, 60 miles an hour in a 20 mile an hour corner. So I saw that wreck, and then I saw another guy was following us, and me and another person passed the car, and then he went to go past the car, and when he went to go past the car, he didn't have enough space before the car in front of us was coming towards us, and he actually like went over and hit the car beside him and ended up wrecking. But obviously then like neither one of these people got seriously injured. Their bikes got pretty fucked up. They got some road rash and whatnot, but it could always be worse. So you gotta kind of think about the big picture. Like riding in a group is fun. I would say if you're gonna ride in a group, like make it the same people. Like trust the people around you, basically, because like one wreck can turn into a lot. I mean, one wreck can become very bad. Like if we were all riding in a directly straight line and Eric ran into the back of that car in the front, right? If he like just didn't realize they were braking and he ran into the back of the car, what's gonna happen? We're all gonna go right into the back of that car also. So riding staggered, or I've heard people call it like bricklay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. That's like the safest way to ride in a group. Now another thing is like, obviously there's not a super tight corner right here, but when you're coming up to like corners, You obviously want to set yourself up for the apex of the corner, which is like you want to be on the outside of the corner. So like if it's a left corner, you want to be on the right side, go to the inside, and then go to the outside. Well, if you're riding staggered and like say it's a left corner coming up right here and I'm still over here on the left side, you have to accommodate for that. So like everybody will usually move over to the right. That's why you don't want to like you don't want to staggered ride and be like this, like right here. You don't want to be like right up on someone's ass, because what happens if she decides we want to go left here and then she turns left and like hits me? I mean, it would be my fault, obviously, because I'm the one following her and not making myself present, like way too closely. So there's that. Another thing is like good communication. Like people will in group rides, they'll like if there's like an object on the ground, like some roadkill or something like that, they'll usually like mark it with their feet. Like they'll stick their foot out like this right here. And it kind of gives an indicator for the people behind you, like, hey, look out on the right, or hey, look out on the left. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into group riding, and I'm gonna try to remember most of them. Obviously you got your hand signals, like for people that don't have turn signals, which nobody should be riding without turn signals to begin with. But you know, there's obviously I don't know what she's doing, but obviously there's turn signals, hand signals, I mean, so you should get familiar with those, especially if you're a new rider and like you're going to be riding in groups and people are going to be giving hand signals, which a lot of people do. Get familiar with those, because you may not be aware of something that's about to happen. Like people might be taking a left or something, they put their arm up to make the left and you're like riding behind them, you don't know what the hell they're doing, are they stretching or whatnot. So you definitely want to get familiar with that kind of stuff. So we're kind of stuck behind traffic right now, so it's really hard to show you like some of the things that we'll do like when we're actually getting it. But mostly it's just like staggered formation. You gotta watch for brake lights in front of you. You don't want to be riding too closely. Like I'm riding pretty close to Heather right now, but I know her riding speeds and I know her abilities. So like I said, we're very familiar with how each other ride, and that alone makes a huge impact on how the ride's gonna go. Because like I said, I've been riding in groups for, you know, close to, I guess, 5 years or so. And I've ridden in groups before when I lived in North Carolina, but they weren't quite as big as the groups that I've ridden in Florida. And I've ridden in certain groups that were well over 50 plus bikes, and that can get very hectic. Like to me, a great group ride is like 3 to like 6 people. I mean 7 and 8 is not too bad either, but once you get up to around like 10 plus bikes, it's very hard to keep everyone, like when you get to stoplights and stuff like that, to get everybody, like here we're gonna make a left corner, so like everybody's getting over to the right. Obviously we really can't get it too hard on this because we're stuck behind cars still, but that's basically essentially what I was talking about earlier. Everybody will move over and set themselves up for the corner. So like I said, group riding can be a lot of fun. Like I don't really ever ride solo, to be honest. I'm usually like riding with at least Heather. My dad rides with me a lot, and my buddies obviously. But like I said, group riding can be a blast. It's just, it can be very dangerous at the same time. So like right here, we're all trying to make this green light. Well, if you have 20 bikes, are they all going to make the green light, or is some of them going to either risk running the red light, or they're going to get like stuck at the light, and then everybody ahead of them is going to have to be like, you know, well, what do? We pull over, wait for them, or we just keep going? Or it can become a big clusterfuck when you get like so many bikes together riding. So that's kind of about it, really. I mean, that's obviously not close to all the tips I could possibly give you, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head. stagger formation, watching people from in front of you, mirrors. Like when I have people riding behind me and I don't really know them, I will always be checking my mirrors, because you do not want to be that guy who goes to make a right-hand turn like just now, and somebody behind you doesn't realize you're turning and runs right into the back of you. And that's actually happened a lot. I mean, I see it in videos all the time. I mean, it's very dangerous, like I say, guys, riding in groups, especially if you ride with stupid people. Like, I know group riding can be fun, but if you ride with a group of idiots who you really can't trust, and you feel like very like not at ease, that's when, like, I will just call it quits. I'll be like, yeah, I'm never riding with this fucking person again, because it's not worth the risk, to be honest. I mean, it's fun and all good times, but it's risk versus reward. So if you're a new rider, I would highly suggest you not ride in a group for a while until you get really comfortable and familiar with your bike. And once you start going to group rides, just ride with, like, you know, one or two other people to begin with, and kind of get a feel for it, because you will have old shit moments riding in groups, trust me. Like, I don't care how well you know the people or what, eventually you will have an old shit moment. And another thing is, like, following too closely in corners like this right here. I mean, I'm not that close to Heather at all, but if I were close to her and something were to happen and she went down or had an old shit moment and, like, had to brake or something like that, I would be, like, right on her ass. And then if you don't want to brake in a corner, okay, that's a totally different subject. That would be just a riding tips video. If you guys would like to see a riding tips video, I could definitely try to work on that. But right now, this is just kind of like a group riding kind of tips video. So there's the popo. That guy just moved in here. Yeah, obviously he's not working right now. Thankfully, this is actually where I got a ticket about 6 months ago. So yeah. Oh yeah, a different subject also. But yeah, guys, I am out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of this ride, and you guys take it easy, be safe out there, and have fun. That's what it's all about. Enjoy it with good people and good times. So take it easy. I'm out. Peace.